So you want to play an Order of the Lycan Blood Hunter, but with such a unique subclass, how are you going to make it different? What if we subverted the canine countenance into an alien experiment, or twerking as a She-Hulk? Let's transform our thinking with the subclass and make some flavor hybrids to really make your next character concept really one of a kind. Hello Acolytes, welcome to the Cleric Corner. My name is Riker, and here we talk about all things Dungeons & Dragons, tapping into our higher powers to create worlds more unique and stories more impactful. Continuing with the spooky videos of this month of October, we take a focused look on the Lycan subclass created by Matt Mercer. As far as abilities go in this class, we get to tap into our magic of werewolves. Starting out with heightened senses, you have advantage on things that use your smell, and then being able to transform for a limited time into your werewolf hybrid form. While transformed, you have advantage on strength-based rolls, a bonus to armor class, and a nasty claw attack. But make sure that you don't lose too much health, or you might lose control of your mind and go savage with bloodlust. Lastly, you learn to be able to transform into your werewolf form an unlimited amount of times, as well as get a blood curse of the Howl, which can both frighten and stun your enemies. An incredibly fun and popular subclass. But let's see what happens if we can neuter the wolf's flavor and use just the mechanics to create something else just as evocative. So let's start with the Menagerie, a blood hunter that is a werebeast of any other creature. We have seen were-ravens, were-panthers, and were-hares in books like Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, but also other creatures like octopi, insects, rhinos, or snake-like creatures like the Yuntai, or Yuan-Ti for those who like to keep reminding me in my comments. I will pronounce it how I like, thank you. You could have contracted a lycanthrope of any of the creatures mentioned, of course, but what if you contracted all of them? What if each time you transformed into your hybrid form, it was a different animal? A werehawk one moment and then a werefrog the next. Lycanthropy could be non-specific to any one beast in your world, or it could just come from the last beast that you saw or touched. If you want to turn into a were-elk, well, you will have to touch one first. But speaking of all these beasts, let's bring up the other animal transformationist, the Druid. Sure, you can flavor your lycanthropy as a wild shape, but Druids are so much more than that. Your transformation is an elemental transformation, taking on a bark skin or a stone skin to attack as an agent of nature. Or you take on other elements of nature around you, like the Circle of Land Druid. Or your transformation could be taking on like the starry forms of the Circle of Stars Druid. Be sure to give yourself the right of the flame, imbuing your claws with fire damage to be reminiscent of the Wildfire Druid. You are basically the all Druid at this point, your blood curses taking the form of vines, holding your enemy down or surrounding them in thorns to keep them from multi-attacking. I also picture the Bloodlust almost being like those mad trees from the Wizard of Oz throwing apples because they don't like to be touched. Maybe you're just a little protective, but why stop at just normal beasts and plants with the Monstrosity? You extend beyond the beast type creatures and instead transform into creatures like the Owlbear, or a Displacer Beast, a Kruthic, an Aramvorax, a Bahir, a Bullet, Purple Worm, Grey Render, the Nightmare Beast, a Strigoi, a Tarrasque, a Warg, or a Yeti. All to which you could have a partial transformation into. Perhaps you were cursed with it, or your DNA was spliced with them, their soul is stuck within you, or a wizard transmuter had a little too much fun with their experiments. Heck, maybe you have the blood of giants and can grow your size through runic magic as your transformation. Or a fey creature stuck in this human form and can only show their true form for limited times. Or you have fiendish blood and your skin turns red and you grow horns and a tail in more of a devilish transformation. You could have quite literally given this devil your soul, so they take over when necessary. Which brings us to another creature type that deserves a category all on its own, the dragon. Transform into your favorite chromatic, metallic, or gemstone dragons, reflavoring your blood curses as unnerving breaths or psionic capabilities. You could even multi-class with an ascendant dragon monk or Drake Warden ranger. This could have been a draconic gift outline in Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, gifted to you when you defeat a dragon, or the ghost of the dragon still within you. Or be a regular dragonborn unleashing the dragon within. Your bloodlust also coming in the form of draconic greed, striving to take the gold or magic items off of your fellow players. Unfortunately, you still won't be able to fly, but you can get that elsewhere. With your blood rights or imbuing your weapons with elemental magic, take from a single dragon type you wish, or be a herald of Tiamat herself, and switch between any color of dragon with all of the damage types. And while we're on a roll, let's look at the Thrall, one that takes inspiration from the undead creature type. Race, banshees, zombies, shadows, skeletons, ghosts, liches, and vampires. Your transformation is extending your teeth or claws as a Dhampir, or even a bat-like transformation. With ghost-like creatures, you can go partially ethereal, or their form sits atop yours as an ancestor or guardian angel, or in a loud possession that attunes to your senses. Your bloodlust instead is losing yourself completely to this possession. Your whole form could turn dark like a shadow, or take inspiration from the undead warlock's form of dread to flavor your transformation similarly. Perhaps it's your patron itself that is possessing you. But by the way, you don't need to be a warlock to make a pact with a patron. But now let's talk about one more type of creature, the Aberration. Mostly known for mind flayers and aboleths, you may also have sloths, starspawn beholders, cosmic horrors. Your transformation could be partial ceramorphosis, or your blood curses come from eye stalks off of your back. This could have been more of a forceful transformation from a patron pact, or you spent way too much time exposed to the horrors of the far realm in some way. Or give yourself an alien symbiote and your transformation is them taking over. But creatures aside, this is just your chance for intense body horror. Trigger warning now with this stuff. But as you transform, your skin boils, pusses, warps, stretches, and turns inside out, creating gaping wounds and turning your inner organs into outer weapons. But speaking of all of this horror, if you're looking for more inspiration and flavor to prepare for your spooky games this month, as I've mentioned in all of my other videos, check out this month's issue of my Higher Power magazine. This month being all about blood and brains, exploration of characters based on different undead monsters, and how to make them new, unique, and evocative to terrify your players with the unknown. If you wish to grab a copy, all my patrons get a new issue every month, and if you become a patron now, you will get last month's issue for free. Otherwise, you can still get them on my website, all linked below. Either way, it helps support this channel so I continue to make videos like this. I couldn't do it without you guys, really. I couldn't. Thank you. So now we get to talk about one of my other favorite topics, superheroes. With the Hulk, your transformation is one of alchemical or scientific means. Your muscles growing in size, your skin changing in color, your emotions becoming heightened in a way that it becomes uncontrollable. You could be fueling these transformations through consumables or syringes, or be a result of magical gamma radiation or dark energies. There are tons of different kinds of Hulks to take inspiration from. Even the Grey Hulk transforms when the sun goes down. Kind of like a werewolf. Just ask yourself what kind of effects different concoctions and elixirs might do to you. Maybe even like Shimmer from the Arcane series. But speaking of another superhero, the transformation is relatively a little more subtle. The Wolverine. In his case, claws of metal unsheath through his skin. So what if your own weapon is inside of you? You eject this weapon in some form of metallic blades, bones, glass, or crystals meant to do harm and maim. How did you come across this ability? How are these things implanted within you? How could you even combine some transmutation to make your limb become part of your weapon? I can also think of a similar superhero by the name of the Absorbing Man becoming a weapon you touch or hold, even your body assuming that element as well. What other superheroes or mutants could you pull inspiration from? But what if you were just a normal dude? How would you translate the abilities then? And make it equally unique, of course. Well, with the Unarmed Fighter, we take the archetypes of the monk and the barbarian. Firstly, the monk transforms by going into a special fighting stance or tapping into their ki, and then influencing their ki instead of blood magic. Not literally, because you don't have ki as a blood hunter, this is flavor, it's allowed. Your bloodlust could be almost losing yourself to your trance and not being aware of your surroundings. You could even be an elemental monk in that way, in activating different kinds of blood rites. In the barbarian department, the elemental part could be much like the Storm Herald subclass, the transformation being your rage, and of course your blood magic instead being causing fear and hesitation in your enemies. But what about the magic side of things? Instead of a physical transformation, you activate the Bladesong, much like the Bladesinger wizard where their physical attacks are empowered by their magic. Make it fun as a mage with brass knuckles or clawed gloves. Your transformation is just an arcane boon, but you can also flavor it as a divine boon coming from a god, more like your clerics or paladins. Your physical attacks imbued with holy light. Entering bloodlust is your body not being able to handle all of that holy light within you. Normally, the only weapon right that deals radiant damage is given to the Ghost Slayer subclass, but for flavor, I would allow a trade with another one that they may have. Talk with your DM, of course, if you want to do something like that. In fact, talk to them about any possibility or character concept. Hopefully they will want to cultivate that creativity and provide an interesting and tailored experience for everyone. So what do your transformations look like? Tell me about your characters in the comments below. Check out other subclass reflavors in the playlist here, or if you're preparing for a Ravenloft adventure this Halloween, make sure that you watch this one beforehand. But in the meantime, go out there and spread the good word of D&D and make the world a better place, both on and off the table. See you in the next one.